Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Ossi comments on / everything wrong with videos about Germany. And yeah, welcome. Please come in, sit down, take a cookie, something else, maybe make a drinking game, count how many times I say and let's start with 5 reasons why you want to work in Germany by Brit in Germany. Yeah, as I said, today we will take a look at this very short video. It's like not even 5 minutes, so this video might be only 45 minutes or something like that. You know, I like to talk. I have already seen it. In fact, I watched some American dude who reacts to videos about Germany. Which is honestly the reason why I wanted to start the series, because while watching him I noticed that there are so many things that are just wrong for certain parts of Germany, or even for most parts of Germany. So this is a Brit in Germany. Sounds pretty German, but because of the name I think he's from Britain, I don't know. But in this video it's about working habits and work culture in Germany, and yeah, there is lots very wrong about that, so let's just dive in.
Today we are talking about German work culture and the German labor market in general, and I wanted to go over advantages of living and working here, so that you can know what to expect when you move to Germany.
Right here and there, as I said, there are many things wrong in this video, so please don't use this video. If you come across this video, don't use it as your only advice. Don't come to Germany, want to work here, expecting all the things that he's talking about, because yeah, it's not. I don't even think it's correct for his region or something. It might be just that he has. Let's not go ahead of ourselves.
So the first thing is coffee. If you're moving and starting to work in Germany, you will need to learn to love coffee.
First thing, no. Why would you? Yes, like in many cultures. I mean, in the US, it's the same with coffee. Or water. People tend to drink coffee in the morning to feel awake, to feel like they could be productive, but by no means is it a necessity. I have worked a lot of jobs and I don't like coffee, and I will never like coffee, like many people I know. It's just this bitterness, and it doesn't really. If I drink coffee whatsoever, I drink it with like a half cup full of sugar, just to make it somewhat drinkable for me. So yeah, this is the first thing. You don't have to get used to coffee. If you drink coffee, you need coffee, then working in Germany won't change that, and if don't, then also working in Germany might not change that.
Like I have. Coffee is a big tradition in Germany. There is the Kaffee and Kuchen tradition, or the coffee and cake, which is in the afternoon, basically the equivalent of the British high tea.
Yeah, the British tea time and the German cake and coffee, or Kaffee und Kuchen, so it's the other way around, may be at first glance similar, but in most regions really, or in most demographic groups, coffee and cake, or cake and coffee, is not something you do every day, or stuff like that. It's not a tradition like the British tea time. It's mostly older people who cling to this tradition, let's say so. But it's not by no means something everyone does. Kaffee und Kuchen, or coffee and cake, is a long-lasting tradition in Germany. However, it is not as important to people as it was in the past. According to this statistic by Statista, people were asked if they would drink coffee or eat cake in their free time, so outside of work. Only 32% of young adults stated that they would do so. Numbers get higher with singles, 55%, couples 57%, families 64%, and young seniors with 76%. The top spot is claimed by retired people with 68%. As Wikipedia shows, the tradition is not purely German but shared with other countries like Austria, Finland and Luxembourg, but not Switzerland. The traditional day is Sunday, as a day where families came together in the past. Occasionally, when you for example, when a family member has birthday or when a friend has birthday in a particular age, so in adulthood and maybe like the part of adulthood I am in, like 30s, 40s and upwards, then you may invite your guests by saying, yeah, we will have coffee and cake, which by no means means you have coffee and cake. It's just an expression. Because, as I said, many people don't like coffee, and so they might be serving tea, water, soda, whatever. And cake is usually something you would expect, but you can expect it like 100%. It's just an expression for, yeah, let's sit in a circle on the table and let's just talk. No party, no music, something like that. Usually on special occasions, like I said, like birthdays, stuff, when you have these family get-togethers or close friends get-togethers. In the youth, it's nothing at all. I think many German young people wouldn't even know what coffee and cake means. And of course, when you have a date or something, or when you meet friends, maybe at a cafe, then you would also refer to that as having coffee and cake, just because it's nice to say so and it's easy to say so.
And this really is a wonderful tradition. You go to the cafe, sit outside on the street, drink coffee, eat cake, and a lot of the work culture also revolves around the coffee machine. So this is something you can really start to look forward to.
This really depends on where you're working. I had office jobs. I had many jobs in my life, and among them were office jobs. And the coffee machine was not like a social place where you meet people. It was like you get a cup of coffee, you go back to your work desk, or when you have a break, then you sit down maybe in the eating room and drink that coffee or eat something you brought with you. And you may socialize with friends at work or with other colleagues, but not in the case that you would think of like in America, when people collect around the coffee machine or the water dispenser and have chats and bring themselves up to date. This is very different it's different from company to company, because many companies, like the ones I worked with, wouldn't even allow such a gathering, because they want you to work, they don't want you to chat. So you usually take your coffee or any other drink. I used to drink hot chocolate from the coffee machine and take it back to your desk. Yes, coffee is amongst the most popular drinks in Germany, if not the most popular, with 162 liters per capita per year. This, however, doesn't mean that it's everyone's taste. According to this statistic by Statista, only 78% drink coffee on a daily basis, which is this statistic here. Only 54% state the drink would make them happy, and 27% of workers claim to never use the coffee machine at work whatsoever. Coffee company Chibo released a report in 2019. According to this coffee report, depending on if you are a senior staff, employee, skilled worker, or official, only a merely 17.9 to 36% state to mingle, small talk and socialize with colleagues while drinking coffee. Most prefer to drink while working or during their break with colleagues. 17.5 to 27% prefer to drink strictly alone.
when planning on move to Germany. Another huge benefit I see of working in Germany is paid leave. So Germany as a country, and generally most companies, are extremely generous with holidays, depending on the company, of course.
I don't like him saying most companies because that's completely wrong. It depends on where you work. The minimum vacation days you have per year by law are 20 days. I think 20 days, 22 days, something around that. That's the minimum every worker in Germany has to get from the get-go. From every no matter where you work, they have to give you at least those days vacation a year. And of course, this only means work days. So like if you want to have 7 days in a row free, and the typical working week in Germany is 5 days. No matter if you work Saturday or Sunday, you usually work 5 days. So you have 2 off days a week from the get-go. And those 2 off days do not count towards your vacation days. So if you have 7 days in a row, you most likely only use up 5 of your working days. So yeah, and how many vacation days you actually get depends on the company. Usually US-based companies, lower income companies, like when you work at a restaurant, when you work at McDonald's, something like that, or when you work in a shop, then they often only give you the bare minimum. Some even I had applications with companies who even wanted to go below that line by trickery, by working only part-time, but then counting a full day as a full working day, even though I would only work a half a day, which would be illegal. So those want only to give you the minimum. Some greater companies, like I worked for Otto, which is like Amazon but German and very much not as big as Amazon. They said 6 weeks, which means 30 days. But they had a contract, a so-called collective agreement, that they were binded by, in which was agreed to that they give 30 days, and other companies in the same contract also give 30 days. But yeah, usually 30 days is the maximum. I have rarely seen companies who offer you more than 30 days, full days. Can't really take a vacation for half a day. By law, if you work 5 days a week, you are entitled to at least 20 vacation days a year. If you work 6 days, it's 24 days, and if you work less days, it's less vacation days. But even though touristically all 3 are the same, as your vacation is sometimes also referred to in weeks, not days. Therefore, the minimum vacation is 4 weeks, no matter how many days you work. Why? Because if you work 2 days a week and you take 2 days of vacation in 1 week as a week, your employer cannot expect you to work on just 2 other days the same week. You take vacation for 1 week and just include the days you wouldn't normally work anyway. Usually companies grant you between 4 and 6 weeks of vacation, only seldom you'll see more than 30 days or 6 weeks. It is also not uncommon to grant you more vacation days depending on your age or how long you are working for the company. Those things are usually also fixed in your contract and not required by law. In fact, they are somewhat seen as illegal or a gray zone, as this is sometimes viewed as a mistreatment based on age, and younger people would be discriminated. On average, how many vacation days people in Germany have depends on age, industry, position and state. Including holidays, which also vary by state, Bayern has the most free days a year, Berlin the least. In our capital, workers on average can look forward to 27.8 vacation days a year, as well as 9 holidays. The least average vacation days you get in Saxony, with only 27.5 days. If we take a look at different industries, you have more chances for many vacation days if you work like in the car industry, at a bank, or other high-skilled work environments. Whereas as call center agents, legal advisor, health industry, or hotel and restaurant, you might be granted way less days. This statistic, by the way, only takes a look on executives and skilled professionals, not regular workers, who might expect even less in both cases. But what I wanted to say, I think that's all for now.
But I think the companies are extremely generous with holidays, depending on the company, of course, but I think the minimum is at least 20 days. Most companies offer 30 days paid leave per year.
Yeah, and because you said generous, it's rarely generosity. It's laws, it's contracts they have binded themselves on. It's agreements with the workers, with labor parties, stuff like that. Labor unions. So with labor unions, with labor parties, with their workers, those are agreements they are binding themselves to, not out of generosity, but because those contracts are binding. Few companies. One I know of is Google, funnily enough. Google in Hamburg offers 30-day leave. They offer so much for your mental health and stuff like that. They have footballs, kickers, as we say. They have pool tables. They have, you can come when you want, you can go when you want. All the stuff, because they are amongst the few companies that are in Germany. It's a growing number, but it's still only a few who realize that a happy worker is more productive, and so they try everything to give you a good work-life balance, to make you happy, to make you more productive, and to make you not leave.
And it's very flexible and generous about how you can take it. So if you don't manage to take it within the given calendar year, you can even carry it over into the next year.
Partly wrong. So first of all, you're not flexible. You can't just go to your boss and say, I will have the next 2 weeks off. Usually that don't work, because you have to go to your person. If you're in a bigger company, there are not public relations. Human resources. There are human resource departments who plan all the worksheets, who plan who works when, and you can't have too many people at vacation or sick at the same time, because then you have no one to work. So there are many rules that again differ from company to company. In the most companies I worked on, you have to at least give a 2 to 4 weeks advance, so they can plan around, and they have to they need to give you a verification that you actually can take the vacation then, because when they run the numbers and they see, oh, it's impossible, like mostly at Christmas time, for example, many companies, especially in the business market, especially in shops, they forbid you to take vacations around New Year's and Christmas, or around Easter, because that's usually the time where the highest demand of workers is there. So yes, you are not generously, so it's not generous how you can take them. You are, on the other hand, by law required to take them. Not in the sense of you really you get punished if you don't take your vacation days, but in the sense of your employer has to give you those vacation days and has to give you the opportunity to take them. And yes, in some specific ways you also have to take them. Really, you really have to take them by your own. Not that you get punished, but it can be, for example, that your employer gets punished. because the assumption then is that they didn't give you the opportunity to do so. Another thing is that these vacation days that you can take over to the next year, usually in most companies you have to take them before March of the same year, because otherwise they would just vanish. The companies usually have to pay you out for them, for the days you don't take, but you can't take them anymore after March. This is again varying by between companies, varying because of contracts, stuff like that. Usually you have, when you sign your contract with your employee, everything about vacation and how to take them, when to take them, is written in the contract. As this article by the Technical Health Insurance TK shows, by law you are only allowed to carry over your vacation days when there are good reasons that you haven't taken them in the current year. These reasons are either personal, like inability to work, sickness of a close family member you have to care for, or sickness of your partner if you would have spent your vacation with them, or they are by your company, like strictly dated or seasonal assignments or technical/administrative problems. You also can carry over vacation days if you have been sick on your vacation. This is because if you go to a doctor and get a sick leave, you'll get all vacation days back that you were sick and excused on. Since this might happen at the end of the year with no opportunity to take another vacation, they carry over. And by the way, vacation does not mean that you are traveling. The aforementioned reasons also count if you were to spend your entire vacation at home. However, if your days carry over, you have to take them until the 31st of March in the following year.
In the given calendar year, you can even carry it over into the next year, and so in this way you can group and block holidays together to take a longer period of time off work.
Also something that is not always true, because many companies don't allow you to take more than 1 or 2 weeks in a row. Usually 2 weeks is granted, but without any hesitance, if again all the earlier said things apply. But if you want to take your vacation days like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks in a row, then usually there is hesitance and your employer will ask you to take them. Otherwise, you yourself shouldn't use them up all at once, because you want to stretch it out over the year. You want to have those holidays, those vacation days you can look forward to rest, to go on vacation for special needs, when you can't take one of the other paid leave days that might be offered. We will get to that. So yeah, you shouldn't and mostly can't use them all at once. This would require a much higher level of a much higher level of generosity.
There is also something called Bildungsurlaub, or educational holidays, sort of for further education. So if you want to learn something or improve on a skill, that it kind of does have to benefit the company, it has to be relevant to your work, but you can take up to 2 weeks off per year to study this topic. So
again, varies from company to company. As far as I know, I think after each segment I will do maybe a short voiceover, like in the last video, with actual proof for things I say. But I am pretty sure that there is no law that grants you those vacation days, or those extra vacation days of 2 weeks to study. I'm pretty sure it's on company basis. If a company says you can do that, then yes, you can do that. If the company says no, then it's no. It's not, you can't take that for granted. Actually, there are laws that grant workers a minimum amount of study time. Those laws, however, are not federal, but on state-by-state basis. It also sometimes depends on position and level. In Hamburg, for example, all full-time and part-time employees as well as trainees are granted 10 days within 2 years. Other study vacation days range from 5 days a year in Baden-Württemberg, Lower Saxony, North Rhine-Westphalia, Saxony-Anhalt, Schleswig-Holstein, Thuringia or Hessen to 10 days in 1 year in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. The Saarland grades 6 days, all others up to 10 days within 2 consecutive years.
A lot of people here, they study English, they go to USA, Canada, Australia to do an English course for 2 weeks, and then they extend their break for another 2 to 3 weeks, and it's all paid. The whole time off, it can be up to 4 to 5 weeks, is paid holiday, paid leave, and it's really a great way to, you know, sharpen your skills, develop your knowledge, and I mean, the idea is that it benefits the company as well. So you can really look forward to that. Other ways of getting time off in
And this part is actually true. All planned vacation days you take from those you are given. So every vacation day your company gives you is paid leave. So you get paid for those days. Some companies even offer something extra, a bonus, so to speak, that is called Urlaubsgeld or vacation money, which usually is paid around April each year, is like a half or a full monthly wage that you can just spend on your holidays. It's not a compensation for your paying while you are on holidays, because as I said, those days are paid as if you weren't as if you were working. Those is just a bonus, and there's another bonus that you can look forward to, which is also nothing that you can take for granted, but many, especially bigger companies, do offer them. That is Christmas money. So you get a full monthly wage extra in usually November or December to buy Christmas presents. Again, not every company does that.
In Germany, if you're moving house, you'll get an extra day's paid holiday for that. If you have a death in the family, you get an extra day for the funeral. And most companies and bosses are very generous when it comes to personal issues. If you're having some crisis in the family or at home, then you will usually be granted, you know, at least a week to sort out your personal issues, and this is usually paid as well.
Okay, I really don't know where he gets this, because he always speaks from most companies, most of the bosses, things like that. I have never worked for a German company that allowed me to just take a day off because I'm depressed or have family issues or something like that. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, that it is impossible, because maybe on a case-to-case basis you will be granted stuff like that, because, as I said, companies do sometimes want to make you happy because they do want you to work, and if you are really depressed, down, whatever, then you may be more productive if you take a week off. Sometimes you are required to take your vacation days for that, sometimes not. Again, it depends on company to company. The other things, a day off for when you move, or a day off for when a close family member dies, it's also something that is company by company basis. It's also written in your work contract. And it also is something, for example, auto-granted, because there again were binded by the agreement, which stated so. Actually, these special vacation days are granted by law, even though the specifications are a bit blurry. According to paragraph 616 of the German BGB, which stands for Bürgerliches Gesetzbuch or civil law, special vacation days are granted for workers who are unable to work for an insignificant amount of time due to reasons they are not responsible for. In the past, these were orientated by the collective agreement for workers in the public sector. Therefore, you have to be granted special vacation days for at least these reasons. A day for the birth of a child, however, there are many special vacation laws on this topic alone, granting mothers months of labor leave before and after birth, and even the fathers so-called parents' time off that they can take within the first 2 years of the children born. 2 years if a spouse or partner dies, 1 day if you move to another city for operational reasons, not if you just move privately. 1 day for your 25th and your 40th anniversary at the company, 1 day if a family or household member is extremely sick, up to 4 days if a child under 12 in your home is extremely sick. Lastly, if you have a doctor's appointment that has to take place during working hours, you are granted special free time for the duration of getting there, the appointment itself, and getting back. Based on your working contract, your employer might also grant you special vacation for marriage, marriage of close friends or relatives, for the death of distant family members like grandma or grandpa, generally moving, anniversaries of marriage, and other reasons.
Week to sort out your personal issues, and this is usually paid as well. So this is something you can really look forward to. Obviously, we love work. We like to love our work, but it's always good to take time off.
Another general assumption. Many people I know don't love their work. It is really hard to find a job that you really like, that you really want to do, that you have fun to do. And in Germany, the basic mentality of, again, I don't want to make the same mistakes as these YouTubers does, because I don't want to generalize Germany as a whole. But in general, in a majority, let's say, Germans do not, like in the US, live to work. They work to live. So they are very quick to, for example, quit their job if they don't like it, because it might be better for them to just quit a job that brings them down, that makes them angry, that makes them physically broken, than to work there for 2 more months. So Germans are, especially my generation, younger generations, the generation just above, you don't usually see these "I work for the same company 40 years" anymore, because by now it's more about mental health, it's more about work-life balance, and if you have a shitty job, then you don't want to work there any longer than you have to. But there are still people who stay at those jobs, and there are people who say, okay, I have a job I don't like, but it's also not that bad, and I get paid well, something like that. I'm pretty sure you won't find a majority that says that the job they have, they are really, really lucky with and really happy. According to this statistic conducted by Statista, more than half of Germans in 2017 were ready to change their job. Most of them would do so for more money or because their efforts were not recognized enough. Other reasons are missing fun, bad working climate, or working hours that are too much. And as stated by me, the huge majority of changers are young people, especially up to 24 years, whereas people at the age of 55 and above are less willing to change. People between 25 and 54 may prefer a stable environment, but even here we see almost a third changing their job in 2019. Due to the pandemic, letdowns, lockdowns, and a less than promising job market, these numbers went down in 2020. Overall, as these statistics by IWD show, in each given year prior to the pandemic, almost a third of Germans changed their job.
And you will definitely get a lot of time off in Germany.
Again.
The next point is sick leave. What I wanted to say is that it's very easy to get sick leave in Germany. So if you are feeling a little under the weather, if you're not feeling great, or you just really can't be asked to work, then it's very easy to go to the doctor and get a sick note.
Easy is maybe a little bit far-reaching, because again, it depends from company to company. I had companies that usually the law is when you are sick for at least 3 days or more. So on the 3rd day, you have to go to the doctor. You have to get a sick leave. only then you will be paid for the further days, and only then you will be excused. No employee can make you work when you are sick, and usually most people have the mindset. This includes your chefs, and your chef is cook in English, but your bosses, your company leaders, you know what I mean. Usually those have the mental mindset to say never come to work sick, because in worst case you get others sick and the productivity of the company will shrink even more. There are still people like my girlfriend who go to work even when they're sick, for whatever reason, maybe because out of a feeling of duty or something like that, but usually it can even get you sanctioned if you go to work knowingly sick in some companies. Again, there will be companies who say don't stay at home when you're sick because we want you to work, and I don't care about your sickness or something, but by the law they have to grant you sick leave if you are sick. At the latest, on the third day, you have to get a sick leave from your doctor, and that is not like a piece of paper saying that you are sick. It is a piece of paper that is legally required to have all the boxes checked that say you are not only sick and maybe not able to work, but you are really unable to work. You have to be really unable to work. Only that counts, and some companies may even want you to get these sick notes on the first day that you are sick, especially when you have collected a lot of sick days. So if you're sick often, maybe because you don't really are sick, or maybe because you are chronically sick, then it can happen, and it's totally legal that your company says, okay, now we will have, you will get us a sick note even on the first day, so we know that you don't want to come to work.
If you can't be asked to work, then it's very easy to go to the doctor and get a sick note. The next point is maybe something a little tricky for you coming from a different country. If you're coming from the US, Canada, UK, or other, Southern European countries, it is not really common to find friends at work. So usually there's quite a strong distinction between friends and co-workers in Germany.
That is total bullshit. I don't know where he gets this, but this is total bullshit. Like in every other country, when you spend time with others, you may form relationships. You may even form romantic relationships. For example, my former girlfriend is now dating, or for 3 years now, is dating a coworker. Many people date coworkers, and it's not frowned upon or something. It's nothing you keep a secret, and it's also not uncommon to have friends at work, like real friends from work. This time it doesn't really depend on company, even though there might be companies that not really prohibit, because by the law they can't prohibit, but encourage no personal and especially romantic relationships, but they can forbid it, and it will happen. It does happen all the time. This might be a personal experience by him, or he's just, if he is a Brit, if he is from abroad, if he is not a native German, it might just feel for him like there is no friendship at work. But everyone, literally everyone I know has at least one friend that is a friend from work. It might not be your current work, but from previous work, for example. Some even have best friends they made from work. Another useful statistic by Statista: friendships at work from 2017. As we can see, up to 44% of workers claim that they have at least a few friends at work or meet them in private on a regular basis, whereas only 18% claim that they would segregate work and private life on a strict basis. 27% might have no friends but used to exchange with coworkers. In fact, your working space is the third most likely point to generate friends, as this statistic of people shows who were asked to state where their friends come from, where they know their friends from. Most claim to know their friends from another friend or from the neighborhoods, but 51% also claim to know their friends from work just above school. And then there is a big drop. It is total bullshit to say you are not expected to make friends or you won't make friends or something like that.
Usually you're kept at an arm's length. When first starting, I mean, it might develop over time, but don't expect to make friends straight away. This is not normal in Germany.
I would say it is not normal anywhere to make friends immediately. You can have friendly contacts, and again, that varies from people to people. If you have more extrovert people, more open people, then you might form friendships and friendly relationships way sooner, maybe even on the first day, which is not uncommon. But yeah, if you have like people who are more introverts or more conservative, more caring about their own business, then yes, those people, but you have those people all around the world. Those are always the people who never really made friends. I am such a people. I don't make friends at work, usually. There has to happen a lot before I make friends at work. I have friendly relationships at work. When I worked in the real world, now I work on the internet, that's great for me. But no thing that I would call a friendship has ever developed for me, but that's because I don't want it. There are people in Germany that don't want it too, but there are also people that are friendly and are open and everyone loves them, and you will love them too, and they will love you maybe back, depending on how your personality is. It's not required or the standard procedure to keep people at arm's length. Even in Germany. It might be more common than in the US, where you have all these surface level friendships or relationships that don't have any roots, and if you leave the company you would forget about them immediately, but you would still nod at them on the street or something like that. That's, in my opinion, not even a friendship.
And even if you do meet colleagues outside of work and have a great time with them and think you're developing a strong relationship, when you get back to the office on Monday, most likely the relationship will be as if you had never met outside of work.
Again, this might be a personal opinion. In my work experience, I have never come across such a thing, especially when you have spent private time with them and had a good time. If you have a bad time, maybe, but if you have a good time, then usually this means you will be friends even when Monday comes. That doesn't mean, however, that you don't have a professional relationship also. So for the sake of the company, you might be required to keep your friendliness at a low level so you can do your work. But especially in greater offices, you have those people around you, and if you have spent time with them, then usually, and even if not you just do small talk with them if you are on a break, or if there is nothing to do right now, then you talk with them.
It is very, very uncommon to not do that, and can even get you fired. Not especially for that reason, but I was fired by Otto because I don't have the, as they said, Otto mentality, which meant to come in smiling and having those friendly relationships with everyone, which was not like a contract requirement, but my then boss thought of me as some kind of outsider, some kind of weirdo, and I would the blackness of my being would cloud the work office, which was one of the main reasons my contract did not get renewed.
So the last point I have is punctuality, which you really need to respect. In Germany, it is very important to be on time. For me, this is, actually kind of a given. I think it's really disrespectful to waste other people's time and turn up late. And in Germany, this is no different. So especially in the workplace, if you are late on a regular basis, it will definitely lead to disciplinary action, to talks, and ultimately to warnings and getting fired. So take this seriously, don't be late when coming to work. And that's it for today.
Okay, not getting late to work is, I would say, something we can all agree on is worldwide. Every boss on the whole world would be mad at you if you come late to work, because he pays you and he wants you to work and he wants you to be punctual. That's one side. On the other side, you have the I really want to say misconception about Germans, that they're always punctual and they expect you to be punctual. Job, yes, if you have a meeting or something with for example, the government or a governmental office or something like that, yes. If you have other professional meetings, yes. If you have a date, if you have friends over or you go to friends over, something like that, then no. No one expects you to be, like when you say we start at 8, no one, even in Germany, expects you to be there on 8. Especially not earlier than that. You are usually expected like at least 10 minutes later. Some people come half an hour later, some people come an hour later, some people don't come at all. It's just like it is, and no one will be mad about you except you have something planned that has a tight schedule, like you meet at your house and then you want to go to the cinema and the movie starts at like 8 o'clock and you have to be punctual because otherwise you would miss half of the movie. That's different, but if there is no strings attached, then no one expects punctuality from you. According to Statista, the majority of Germans would accept lateness for up to 15 minutes. 64% tolerate people who arrive even significantly earlier. Only 2% would be angry no matter how you derive from your agreed time. In case of lateness for work, around 26% of Germans claim to never be late whatsoever, while the majority, 37%, claim to be late for 1 to 5 minutes if they are late. And of course, when you maybe meet at a public space, you want to go shopping or something, then being late might be seen as rude, but only if you are late by a significant amount. So if you are only late for like 5 minutes, no one will even smudge at you. But if you are late for more than like half an hour and the person is just waiting, then at least the least thing you have to do is call them or text them and just saying, okay, I will be late, so they can maybe go somewhere where it's warmer if it's winter, or somewhere where it's cooler if it's summer. So they don't wait standing outside and hating you when you arrive. So yeah, and I have decided I will do some kind of rating system, some like school grading, but the German school rating. So just an explanation: 1 is the best, 6 is the worst. There are pluses and minuses, like in the USA with A plus is 1 plus. And this video I have to give I would say 4 minus, which is a D minus. Let's say 4, just a 4, just a D, because I appreciate the effort. I appreciate him because he spoke pretty understandable. He gave examples, and I'm pretty sure he did some research on what he was talking about, but it was factually just so wrong when applied to the general, that it can't be better than D, because if you take this video as advice, come here to Germany, you will be disappointed for sure. Because you have to be very lucky to get a job like he was describing. That's a dream job even here in Germany. Apart from the no friendships and stuff. Yeah, so this will be a D. And while we're at it, the last video with Feli, I would give a B minus, because it's mostly correct. The things that were wrong were only partially wrong. They were true for personal experience and for maybe regional experience, but not for the whole country as a generalization. So B- I think is a pretty good grade. And with that, we will see us again in the next video. If you liked the video, then please like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what do you want me to rate, what do you want me to do in everything wrong with, and yeah, tell me how you like the videos. If there is anything I should do better or should change, then please tell me. But until then, we will see us next time. Have a nice day, have a nice weekend, have a nice everything. Till then, bye bye.